Good evening to all viewers watching today's International News Bulletin. I am very pleased to accompany you in the next few minutes to update the weather developments that are having a strong impact around the world, especially in the Caribbean Sea and the west coast of Canada. These are areas witnessing complex weather fluctuations, directly affecting the lives and daily activities of millions of people. We will begin with the situation in the Caribbean, where a tropical depression is forming and showing signs of developing into a storm in a very short time ahead. International meteorologists have raised the alert level to serious due to the slow movement and continuous heavy rainfall of this depression, which may cause severe floods and landslides in many island nations. The situation is still developing rapidly and unpredictably, requiring close monitoring and preparedness from countries in the region. According to the latest satellite images, this tropical depression originated from the eastern Atlantic Ocean and is currently approaching the Leeward and Windward Islands chain. Within the next 24 hours, this depression is forecasted to strengthen and become a tropical storm named Melissa. Although the wind intensity has not reached alarm levels, the rainfall caused by this system is very concerning. In just the first few hours, observation stations at some points in Puerto Rico have recorded rainfall up to 100 millimeters, equivalent to the average weekly rainfall. What makes meteorologists especially warn is the very slow movement speed of this depression. When a storm or tropical depression moves slowly, the rainfall will not only concentrate in a short period but also last continuously for many days, increasing the risk of widespread flooding, especially in mountainous and landslide-prone areas. If this situation persists, countries such as Haiti and the Dominican Republic will face an unprecedented heavy rainfall event in many years. Specifically, meteorological models show that within the next 5 days, the total rainfall could reach 200 to 250 millimeters in some areas of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. This is a very large amount of rain, enough to cause serious flooding and landslides, especially in riverbanks and steep mountainous areas. The governments of these countries have quickly activated emergency response measures and launched evacuation campaigns for residents in vulnerable areas. People are advised to prepare food, drinking water, medicine, and essential supplies to protect themselves in the coming days when the rain and storm could isolate residential areas. In Jamaica, although the tropical depression has not entered the mainland area, the situation is still very concerning. Experts forecast that the depression may pass near Jamaica or even sweep across this island nation within the next 48 hours. Therefore, residents here are also advised not to be complacent, and the government has raised the alert level to strict surveillance, ready to escalate to a higher warning status if the situation changes. One of the worst scenarios is that the depression, if maintaining a slow movement or getting stuck in the Caribbean Sea, will cause continuous prolonged heavy rains for many days, worsening the already widespread flooding and landslides in the region. The sea surface temperature is currently quite high, around 29 to 30 degrees Celsius, enough to provide strong energy to help the depression quickly develop into a strong storm in the coming days. Currently, international weather forecast models provide three main paths for Storm Melissa. The European model predicts the storm will pass near Jamaica, then remain stationary for several days, causing prolonged rains in Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and eastern Cuba. The U.S. model believes the storm will slide along the southern coast of Cuba, directly affecting Haiti. Meanwhile, the Canadian model forecasts the storm may move further southwest, approaching the Cayman Islands before making landfall in Central America. Despite differences in paths, the common point of these models is that the storm moves very slowly, creating conditions for prolonged heavy rain. In Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, although not directly affected, the storm's outer cloud bands can still cause localized heavy rain and strong gusty winds, making people very cautious when moving, especially on mountainous roads prone to landslides. Aruba, Curaçao, and Bonaire Islands are also forecasted to receive rainfall from 80 to 120 millimeters, along with the possibility of strong thunderstorms disrupting normal daily life for local residents. As you know, October is often a time of unusual and unpredictable developments in the Atlantic hurricane season. Cold air masses from North America move down, combined with hot humid air from the tropics, creating frontal boundaries, causing storm paths to change very quickly within a few hours. Therefore, meteorologists always advise people to continuously follow official weather bulletins to update the most accurate information and avoid false rumors causing public confusion. With the current situation, the authorities of Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and Jamaica have deployed rescue forces, prepared temporary shelters, and are ready to evacuate residents if the storm strengthens. Residents are instructed not to cross streams or temporary bridges when water levels rise, to cut off electricity if the area is at risk of flooding to avoid electrical hazards, and to prepare flashlights, spare batteries, and essential items to ensure safety during the disaster. Moving to another part of the continent. On Canada's west coast, the weather is also experiencing strong and unusual fluctuations. British Columbia province has just experienced a weekend full of storms with winds up to 130 km per hour, sea waves over 8 meters high, causing minor damage to coastal infrastructure and affecting waterway traffic in the area. Residents here are also preparing for upcoming heavy rainfalls expected to last for several days. Although last weekend brought considerable rain, increasing humidity for the area, up to now, the total rainfall has only reached about 50% of the October average. The Bella Coola area even only reached 22% compared to historical averages. However, forecasts indicate that in the last 10 days of the month, rainfall events will become more frequent, possibly helping this area compensate for the water deficit in the past period. The first rain event is expected to start on Monday afternoon and last until the evening. The second rain event will arrive on Wednesday and may be accompanied by snowfall in high mountain areas. Especially, the largest rain event is forecasted to appear from Thursday evening to Friday, when a large moisture stream from the Pacific Ocean, called an atmospheric river by meteorologists, moves in, bringing very heavy rainfall that may exceed the monthly average. Besides heavy rain, strong winds are also a major danger for the west coast of Canada. Gusts may reach 80 to 90 km per hour, affecting the entire southern coastal area of British Columbia, disrupting ferry services across the Georgia Strait and Vancouver Island area. Sea waves from 5 to 6 meters also pose risks of coastal erosion and localized flooding in low-lying coastal areas. People are advised to avoid going out to sea, reinforce roofs and windows to minimize damage caused by the wind. In inland areas such as Alberta and Saskatchewan, temperatures are dropping rapidly with mixed rain and snow, a sign that winter is arriving earlier than usual. In Toronto and Ottawa, daytime temperatures are only about 10 to 12 degrees Celsius, accompanied by light rain. Montreal and Quebec City are forecasted to have brief thunderstorms, while northernmost regions like Nunavut record winds up to 90 km per hour along with heavy rain, a rare weather event at this time of year. Overall, we can see nature expressing its power at two extremes of the American continent. In the Caribbean, floods may become disasters if Storm Melissa moves slowly or remains stationary for too long, causing continuous heavy rain. Meanwhile, on Canada's west coast, heavy rain and strong winds are challenging the response capacity of local residents and authorities. Meteorologists warn that global climate change is making the weather increasingly unstable and unpredictable, with more extreme phenomena such as storms appearing late or early, winter arriving earlier or later than historical records. This requires us to be more proactive in monitoring, forecasting, and especially preparing to adapt to these changes. Finally, a message to the people of the Caribbean: always follow official weather bulletins. Prepare thoroughly for disaster prevention, and support each other, especially vulnerable groups such as the elderly and children, to safely get through the storm season. In Canada, make sure to check drainage systems, roofs, and heating equipment, and limit going outside when strong wind warnings are issued to protect your health and safety for yourself and your family. We will continue to update the developments of Storm Melissa and the weather situation in Canada in upcoming bulletins. Thank you for accompanying us in today's program. Wishing you a peaceful evening and always stay safe amid all weather changes. Goodbye and see you again.